I want to give an apology to the audio quality of the preceding podcast. We had some technical difficulties in the recording of the audio, and we didn't realize that it was happening as it went on. And it wasn't until the interview and the podcast was over that I found out that the audio quality just did not live up to the quality that I usually hope for on these podcasts. So I did what I could. I put a lot of time into processing this audio. So go ahead and give this podcast a listen. I made it sound as best I could so that you can all listen. And I promise going forward, we're going to do a better job of recording this audio. So thank you very much for listening and enjoy the show. Everybody, it's August 16th, 2018, and you're listening to the Backlog Exposed. You can reach us at thebacklogexposed.com. As always, you have Joe and Kevin. We're here delivering the news about video games. We're talking all sorts of things, and today we have a special guest for you. His name is CalzoneOP, and we have a great little interview for you. CalzoneOP is an up-and-coming streamer. He is someone who is streaming Fortnite when he is streaming, and he's really good. So please check out this interview. Check out his channel. You can find him on Twitch at CalzoneOP, and stay tuned for that. But before we get into anything like that, Joe, how you doing today?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream. Tomorrow's Friday. As my I think it's the 104.5 the cat always says, hopefully it's a payday for you. Hey, what's funny is all these years I've listened to it, I never got paid on a freaking Friday. But guess what? I actually get paid now every Friday. So 15 years later, Friday is a payday for me.
You know, Joe, we're looking at 10 episodes. Okay, we're getting double digits.
We're averaging like 25, 30 an episode now. We're doing all right.
Yeah, we're growing, and it takes some time. But you know what's cool is people are reaching out to me as people start to learn. Just like us, we have a huge backlog. So does everybody else, and so friends of friends are starting to learn about it, and now they're picking it up. They're starting at episode 1 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have this great interview coming up. We've already recorded it, so we know what's coming, but the audience doesn't. We're starting to grow this channel, and I think this is, one of the key things. One of the reasons I wanted to get Tom, who's going to be joining us later. I wanted to get him on.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Real humble, super nice guy, and he was just basically, he was thrust upon the streaming world. He did stream in the past, as you'll learn. But he basically had quite a few people jump right in and start watching him without really, he didn't have a choice in the matter. And he chose to capitalize on the moment. So he's doing great.
Smart guy.
Yeah, very smart. And so he's doing it. He's moving forward with that lifestyle, something that you and I, maybe 10, 15 years ago, if we had that same opportunity, we'd be doing different things. I know I would have taken that up if this was even a thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, hell, even now when I stream on Fortnite, I get like, I think the most I've ever had was 12 viewers. And I was like, what? Yeah. I had 12 people. And he had like 16,000. No big deal.
Well, there's 16 to 20,000 people watching Dakota's, and he just dumped all of his viewers on, and you have a bunch of people leave. But a lot stayed, and
he had thousands
of people just out of nowhere, and he holds his own. He plays really well. He speaks really well. So I hope you enjoyed this interview that we have with him. I definitely am looking forward to it. And hopefully we can keep in touch with him as he progresses on his journey and as we progress on ours, because it's good to have a little network of people who all want the same goal.
Oh, he'll get me back in the podcast. I'm sure of it, because he's just like us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. He was saying he's a bartender and stuff, and just a lot of things that very similar.
Like, oh, here we go.
I just, there's certain things in life that you can do. You would have been a phenomenal bartender, Joe. Seriously, you would have made.
I'd probably been an alcoholic, though.
No, the best part about being a bartender is you don't drink. Generally, you don't drink the booze. You just watch people drink them. But you learn so much about people, and you learn how to navigate around people and how to if you're a good bartender, you learn how to properly work with people to disengage them from their drinks if you need to. The goal, it depends on where you're at. When I was in New Orleans and stuff, the goal was get as much money as possible. But
yeah, that's probably that's like every bar though. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
You're not looking to ruin anybody's life. You're looking to give them a good time, give them great service.
Send them on their way.
Yeah, and it's very similar to podcasting, and it's very similar to streaming. I think more so streaming because it's live. But we're trying to provide a service, and we're trying to do our best talking about something that hopefully people care about. And we want them to reciprocate with their shares, their likes, their whatever. And Tom,
Concerns, comments.
yeah, exactly. And Tom is sitting here talking. He's dealing with people. One of the things I noticed about streamers in general is people start to believe they're friends with the streamer. You know, they donate, they tip, they comment.
Well, I mean, you pretty much do though. Like, you know, like for instance, like I got a great example. Like my buddy Adam, Team Rantod, has never met my military buddy Alex Ray with Ray Bay Bay. They've never met, so they've only talked to each other through PS4, and we've been playing games together for 5 years now.
That's awesome.
And Adam and Ray know each other like they're brothers, and they've never met, which is crazy. So
That's
you
really
do
cool.
get
That is cool.
you do like get to know these people more than you would think, or you know, better than you think.
Yeah, it's interesting because especially when you're streaming, you know, you're trying to keep up with the chat because that's why you're doing what you're doing. I mean,
Yeah, that's the hard part though. I've noticed a lot of streamers have, you know, they'll be focused on playing the game, and then like when the round ends or when they get killed, you can see them go over and scroll through the comments. Like, oh, my bad, man, missed your comment. This and this. I play this game. Yeah, sorry, man. No, I didn't see that. So, but the vast majority don't do that. I mean, they don't care. But the good streamers actually go back and read comments and skip over the, you know, the assholes that, oh, you suck, and you know, I got time for that.
It's crazy, man, because you know, Tom's I would say newer at this. He said he did stream some other games as well, but you know, he's reading the comments live. I mean, he didn't really have a delay or anything. And today I pinged him doing this podcast, and he replied within 10 seconds. He's like, oh, he starts reading my comment, and he's like, yeah, what you about? You know, you want to know a little bit more about us before he just jumped right in and said yes. And it was pretty cool. Like, he's over here playing his game, and he won the particular game that, you know, when I engaged with him on this and asked him if he wanted to be on the podcast, he's over here reading me and other people's comments, and he wins the freaking Fortnite game. Now, I play as much as I can, and I only win every once in a while, but that's because I'm letting people win.
Yeah, you can't win every game, dude.
Yeah, you start winning every game, and Epic is coming knocking at your door. Hey, what are you doing?
Trying to get me sponsorships. I mean, come on. I got stuff to do.
I can't have all that. So, but yeah, he's over here chatting and just winning, and you know, it kind of comes naturally. He's really good at this, and he has a lot of skill set, like the sniping and stuff that you have. And so it's funny. You'll hear in the podcast that Joe and Tom get into it about the sniping a little bit.
Hey man, I have to get out there and I have to show my 280 meter snipe, dude. It's a good one. Show me 281 or longer snipe on a podcast.
Playgrounds don't count,
please. Me and Adam did a 473 meter shot. Stupid. I couldn't even see Adam, but it did happen. Playground don't count.
Yep, playground does not count. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and segue into the interview with Tom, also known as CalzoneOP. We hope you enjoy it. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and talk about the origin of our names, and then we're going to wrap up the podcast. So please enjoy the interview. I'm pleased to introduce to you our first guest ever on the Backlog Exposed. So episode 10, you're going to get your first interview, and with us today is Tom. Tom is a new Twitch streamer, and I ran across him while watching another Twitch stream, and I felt the need to bring Tom into this podcast as we're both trying to bring ourselves out into the limelight, trying to, share with the world what we have to offer, and Tom seemed like the right individual to be the first guest on our show, and I'm glad he accepted. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Joe, do you have any questions to start off this interview with Tom?
What system are you on?
PC.
Okay. And you playing Fortnite, I'm guessing, the new craze or the always craze?
You got it. Fortnite is the craze right now. That's for sure.
Pretty much, man. What got you into streaming though? What game was it that you wanted to start streaming? Was it Fortnite or was it something else?
No. I used to stream all sorts of stuff. The main thing I would stream would be Counter-Strike. And that was years ago. That's probably back in like 2014. Absolutely. It kind of, became a dead game, or relatively dead compared to with the Battle Royales coming out, and it changed the whole structure.
Well, it's relatively dead now, but there's still a bunch of people out there still streaming that game.
Relatively, of course.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's still got a good following.
Mm-hmm.
But like every good game, there's gonna be an end, and I'm not gonna say it's gonna be this year, but I believe within the next year-ish, I think Fortnite's gonna have a lot of trouble keeping up with a lot of these new games coming out, man. Especially Black Ops 4. And I don't know if you're a Spider-Man fan, but man, that game's gonna be about 200 hours of my time.
I'm with you and I'm not at the same time, only because Fortnite did something that no other game could figure out, is cross-platform between PC, PS4, Xbox, the Switch, the mobile. They have it on every single platform. That's why it's so mainstream.
Yeah,
Until another game decides to do that same exact thing and make the game free where everybody's going to be able to participate.
And not only is it free, it's PS4, PSN. You don't even need an account. Like you don't need a $60 a year profile for it. Do you have to have an Xbox Live account to play?
I'm not sure if you do, but I'm with Tom on this in that because of the ease of access, and you have so many different people. I mean, 4-year-olds, 60-year-olds, you have a whole slew of people playing this game. When I went in the other day, and Tom, I'm not sure if you heard about this, but Fortnite BR Leaks, that's a Twitter account, and I'm sure there's a bunch of them, but they leak information about some of the stuff coming up. And they were saying that if you go into a store and you log into a note, you'll get the Galaxy skin. So I went into a T-Mobile store and I logged into I downloaded the Fortnite launcher and everything. It took about 45 minutes to do while they're sitting here thinking they're selling me a phone. And I logged in, obviously nothing happened yet because it's not until the 24th. But while I was doing that, there were 3 different people who came into that store to do the same exact thing. And there was only one note and one tab. So it was interesting to see that just someone leaked this information online that if you go to the store and log in, and it's just a random T-Mobile store and there's multiple people. And one of the guys had to have been 50 or 60 years old trying to log into his account. So I see this reaches such a broad audience and it's such an easy pick 'em up game.
Oh, it is, man. I mean,
so Tom, tell us real quick for our audience, because I know we talked a little bit offline, but I want to give you a platform to talk about yourself. Tell us a little bit about what happened that day, that specific day that you were just playing Fortnite, and next thing you know, 16,000 people are watching you.
Okay, so this is what makes the whole scenario so strange and so weird and such a coincidence that I don't think it's ever going to be replicated again. So I never play solo squads or random squads or whatever you want to call it. And I was always playing with my friends. We always play squad. They decided to not be on for that moment in time. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go do a solo squad or random squad, whatever you want to call it. I'll call it a random squad. So I decided to do a random squad. So I paired up with 3 random individuals. And my whole key in that game was to pick somebody up. The reason why I wanted to pick somebody up was because the season was about to end and I wanted to hit my Omega skin level 4. So that was my whole thing. So what happened was I picked up this dude, Andrew, right after. We died right away. We got into a game with each other. We clicked right away. We got into the lobby of the next game.
I thought Dakotas was going to take him because he was the official streamer,
The funny thing is he actually never streamed or anything like that.
He played competitively, right?
Correct. He played competitive Super Smash, and I didn't know him until literally the game before I met Dakotas. Now, as far as this goes, so I picked up this guy, Andrew, right? And this was the first random squad I have ever done, period, was picking up Andrew. The next game, I get into a game. Mind you, I didn't know this at the time. And first off, I had no idea who Dakotas was. Absolutely no idea who Dark, Dakotas, any of that was.
So that name didn't ring a bell or nothing, did it?
I knew absolutely nothing of it. Nothing. I watched a couple streamers, but really it was just Shroud and Ninja, and I had no idea who they were, or he was. And as far as that goes, which is what makes it even crazier, afterwards I looked up what happened with his stream, and I asked, I basically rewatched the stream after everything happened. So I'm fast forwarding a little bit. And what happened was that game that I got into him right now, Dakotas is in France, and French people are not going to be playing on US East. I live in New York. That game, right as he queued, before he queued up to play with me, he switched to US East. For whatever reason, I have no idea, but he decided that at that specific time, that was the right idea. So he did it. I ended up getting into a game with Dark. I had no idea who Dark was. Andrew goes, Dark, you're familiar. Your voice sounds familiar. Are you who I think you are?
He's got a pretty distinct voice, too, if you've ever heard him.
That's for sure.
The Dakoters are like really big streamers, right?
Yep.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah.
And the rest is history.
How many viewers do you have when you stream now?
I mean, viewers or followers?
Or followers, I mean.
Yeah. Before I started streaming, before I got the host, I was at about $140, $130, right around there. And after the host, I ended up with about 2,500, 2,400, right around there. And of course, people are going to be leaving because they just do it for the raid, and then they leave, and then they go do their regular life. So I'm a little bit over 2,000 as of right now, and it's been pretty steady. I'll drop very, very low, maybe 1 or 2 followers a day, but I get them right back. So at this point, I'm getting to that point where I'm very steady. As far as viewers goes, excuse me, I usually average between about 10 to 25. It really depends on the day, the time, if it's a scheduled stream or not.
Well, one of the things I was listening today too when I pinged you about this, and I heard you say something pretty crazy. And Joe, I want to get your take on this as well. So, Tom, you quit your job to do this just last week, right?
That's correct.
That is absolutely amazing. Joe, think about that. Think about that.
That's ridiculous.
We were talking about that.
I couldn't do it. I'd be so scared. I'd be eating like ramen noodles.
We were talking about this not long ago, like what it would be like to do that. So tell us, like, what led you to make that final decision to do that?
Sure. So as far as this goes, right now, I'll give you a little insight of what's going on. I'm 23. I graduated out of college. I have a bachelor's in finance. I'm not, some basically a dropout or anything like that, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just the way it was. I finished school. Everything was good. I had my first job. I did it for about a year. I was a car salesman. I sold Fords. That was a great place. It taught me a lot of things as far as sales go and how people interact with each other and the whole sales process. I completely understood that. I had a business. I had a clothing line when I was 19, and I did that from the ground up, built a company, legit and everything. If you check up New York, well, I'm not even going to go into that, but it's legit a company. Anyway.
Let me ask you real quick. Let me stop right there because I did the same exact thing. My clothing company was just an online t-shirt store.
Exactly.
But I did that for about 10 years and it was fun as hell, but I just moved on to other things. So you're welcome to plug that if you want.
No. It's all good. I actually decided to stop that due to it being a money pit. And what I did was it's a side story again, but as I went to school, I decided my love for photography. So what I do right now is I do photography on the side. I do all automotive stuff. So I'm an automotive guy through and through. I didn't.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
I didn't plan on that. I was just going to be a random car salesman. If you asked me out of college what I would do, and you told me I'd be a car salesman, I'd tell you are absolutely out of your mind.
Yeah.
I just did it because I thought it was the most natural thing for me to do, considering that I like cars, I like people. I used to be a bartender. I can socialize with people. I figured this would be a great thing.
Yep.
And it was a great thing. It really was. But it was about time that the hours were just a little too much for me. I needed a little time alone. And I had enough money saved up where I can do exactly what I'm doing right now. And we're going to see where it takes us.
That was your job for?
About a year now. Just gave it up.
Streaming.
You got it.
Hey, man, that's awesome.
Man, when I was 23, I had moved down to New Orleans. I grew up in Boston, so you said New York, no hard feelings, but New York and Boston fans, for people who don't know, which most people know, we have a little bit of a rivalry going on. But so I moved from Boston down to New Orleans, and I bartended on Bourbon Street for a couple of years, and it was just like the best time of my life and the worst time of my life at the same time. It was some really cool stuff, but bartending, I feel probably helps you quite a bit in this realm because you get that ability to speak to people. You don't necessarily have to care what they have to say, but you listen.
Absolutely.
Dang, I don't even know what I was doing when I was 23. That was 10 years ago, fellas. I'm sitting there trying to rack my brain. Where was I at when I was?
Where were you at, Joe?
I was thinking, man. I think I may have been deployed when I was 23. I think. What was that? 2008?
Yep.
Nope, I had just gotten back from a deployment about a year before that. So no, I was probably in Illinois, man, just living the dream on the corn state,
Nice.
Sure wasn't able to stream full time.
So Tom, you said that you streamed and played Counter-Strike, correct?
Correct.
And that was a super competitive game. I mean, I know a lot of people who just 10 years ago were playing that game competitively before there was a huge competitive scene.
Mm-hmm.
So do you envision yourself? I mean, I know right now the money and the focus is on Fortnite. Do you envision yourself kind of moving forward with other games, or are you going to stick to this one and just continue to excel at it?
Right now, I'm gonna ride Fortnite as long as it's going to be, until to the point where I get bored and the audience just wouldn't be there. What I'm trying to do is build my audience, and if there's a game that's going to do that better than Fortnite, for whatever reason, and it's something I enjoy, it has to be both. It can't just be one. Then by all means, I'm going to pursue that.
2,000 plus people that's following your gameplay in your stream, they're gonna follow you to the next game. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're gonna stop playing Fortnite and you're gonna lose 2,000 followers or 2,000 whatever, and then you pick up Black Ops 4. It's not like you're gonna start over. Your followers are still gonna, you know what I mean?
Yes and no. So what's going to happen is that I'm a little different as far as the situation that happened. I didn't grow the 2,000 followers organically. So these people have been sticking with me for years and years or whatever it may have been. This is like an overnight thing. So what happens is, it's very easy if you were to go into let's say a low end, or let's just say something that comes in quick goes out quick. Something that stays for a long time more than likely is going to stay for the longevity of the period. Right now, I have to sell myself.
I hear you.
That's what's going on right now, is selling myself, not so much the game that I'm playing. The game that I'm playing is just something that's going to be helping me. And everybody knows me right now as that dude that got hosted by Dakotas, and Dakotas plays Fortnite. So Fortnite is the thing that's going on right now. If I were to just go and move and go into like Black Ops, for example, I don't know the answer, but odds are I think I'm going to have a better chance at being successful playing Fortnite.
I hear you.
Yeah, and you'll probably lose more people by switching games right now because of that flow that you're talking about from coming from Dakotas. Then people are going to go, oh, this is the guy that does Fortnite. Why do I care if he's playing Black Ops?
Yeah.
So that makes sense what you're saying.
If all 2,000 are gung-ho 100% Fortnite, then yeah, you obviously got to stick with that Fortnite. But if you're interacting with all those followers and you're starting to see, hey, do you play Black Ops? Or the majority of your followers are asking you questions about Black Ops, and it could be an idea where you'd be like, you know what, I'll play Fortnite for a couple hours here, and then this day I'll play Black Ops, and then that may even double your followers, man. You know what I mean? Like,
so Tom, one thing I have to note is that Joe has a hard on for Call of Duty.
Shut up, Evan. No one even likes you, bro.
He loves his Call of Duty, that's for sure.
The game just keeps getting worse and worse. I want a good one, for crying out loud. Jesus.
And that's why Fortnite just, I think, has exploded. The ease of access, the simplicity of the gameplay. But one thing I wanted to note is that Tom is really good. It's not just that Dakotas said, hey, I'm going to pick a random guy and throw him to the wolves. He held his own in this game, this one particular game. Dakotas hosted him, and then he continued while amassing crazy amounts of followers and chaos that ensued. And I want to ask you just about how that felt. But the chaos that ensued, he was still playing. He was still playing and trying to do good to keep the people that were there watching him. And it was pretty funny. I'm laughing at your expense there, Tom, but it was just like, I can't even imagine what was going through your head at that moment.
So how many people were watching you during that game?
All right. So this is what happened. So the game, from what I've seen, when Dakotas was playing it, he had about 20,000 people viewing him. After people started dying, obviously, after it went through, by the time he decided to host me, I was at about 12,000. I think my peak was at 12,000. That's what the highest number I saw. Now, I figured, okay, I understand what it takes to be an affiliate. You have to have certain guidelines. You have to have certain this and that, especially being a partner. And those little boxes have to be checked in order to be an affiliate. Before that, I was not an affiliate. I didn't have a sub button. I didn't have anything that basically was required. The only thing I did have was like my PayPal linked, my donations. And I actually got like $15 worth of donations right there,
nice.
Which, by the way, I donated everything to Dakotas, if you haven't known.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But that's besides.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. I give back. I never told him that because I don't know him on a one-on-one, but I have donated him 10, 5. I actually probably donated him more than what I made that day, but that's besides the point. So I'll always every week I'll just like bounce in. I'll throw him like a 5 or whatever it may be. But anyway, so I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
So yeah, you took on the 12,000 and you had some audio issues and your gameplay was kind of stuttery. So you were trying to fix all that.
Yes, thank you. So exactly. So my stream was not optimized for Fortnite. Like I said before, I was playing Counter-Strike. I was streaming Counter-Strike. So I had all my settings optimized for Counter-Strike. My face cam was for Counter-Strike. Everything was for Counter-Strike. So what happened was now I was streaming out of 1080p. I was broadcasting in 1080p. where I only have a 1060 with an i7 4790K, and at the time I had 16 gigs of RAM, but it wasn't dual channel, it was single channel, which is a long story. Basically, I upgraded my whole entire computer, overclocked it a bunch, and added liquid cooling, and now I'm running at 4.8 gigahertz, overclocked my RAM, my GPU, everything. So now I'm running like super buttery. You wouldn't even believe it.
Yeah, stream looks real good.
Thank you.
That's ice skating right there. Smooth.
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you. But so I had a lot of issues when I was playing the game, and what happened was I figured if I just get off this game right now, I mean, this is like my one shot. Like if I ever wanted to do this, this is it right now. If I'm not going to do this, then, call it quits. That's it. So what I decided to do is I woke up at 11 o'clock and I got into that game. I don't even know if I showered or whatnot. I have no idea. So basically what happened was I had my one little chance. I rode that stream out for 6 hours. I streamed that day for 6 hours, from 11 o'clock till 5 or 6, whatever it was. And I maintained for 4 hours over 2,000 viewers that whole entire time.
Wow.
Once it became that hour and a half, right where I was about to, then they really dropped. But I maintained for 4 hours over 2,000 viewers, which is pretty insane for somebody that has a terrible setup, which didn't have a shock mount. So every time I'd bang on the keyboards, you'd hear blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Like, I mean, the worst setup you can possibly imagine. And I still maintained over 2,000 viewers. So I figured, yes, this obviously is a host, but I've seen a lot of people, they raid a channel and then they leave immediately afterwards. And I maintained that for 6 hours, relatively speaking. So I figured, all right, I might have a shot here. So basically, I invested, like I said before, into the computer upgrades. I upgraded my mic. I upgraded my settings. I did all the research I had to do. I got graphic designers to redo my banners, my buttons, my emotes, everything. And we're still in the process of getting better. Every day we're going to be getting better as far as that goes, whether it goes to how I speak, how I play, how I construct the stream.
That's what I was going to say is the first thing is you're very well spoken. I mean, and that helps a lot. You're not cussing constantly. I mean, we all swear, but you're not like, some people, they don't understand the opportunity that's in front of them, and you did immediately. And I think that really, so the people watching Dakota's, and I don't know anything about Dakota's other than just watching him for hours a day on end while I work. And he's a super nice guy. He seems to be genuine. And so the people that watch him over somebody else who's dogging people, cursing at him when they kill him, dancing on top of him and stuff, I mean, he's just having fun with it. And so I watched you for pretty much the entire time you streamed. After he left, I mean, I just have it on while I work. And so it's easy to watch somebody who you kind of aspire to, to be like. You're good, you're well-spoken. So it was easy to sit there and watch you play, because it wasn't annoying. It wasn't a problem. Even though you were, your stream wasn't perfectly optimized, that didn't matter to most people. Now, you handled the trolls and the annoying people really well as well, because they're sitting there going, do this, do that, do this, do that. And you're trying to keep up while still playing and keeping that audience. Mm-hmm. So I think that really sent a message to a lot of people to stick around. And that's why you probably still have those 2,000 people who are sticking with you, because it's worth it. It's worth it. You want to see people do good. I want to see Dakota's make $1 million, because he seems like a pretty decent guy, and I'd love to be in his position. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes for you. I hope that this takes off.
Enjoy the game and, not be a prick about it. Because like a lot of these streamers, you can go watch, the majority of them, they have their days where they're just like dogging people all day. Oh, this guy's an idiot. That guy, oh, look at this stupid guy. I don't know who wants to watch that. You know what I mean? I like watching people that just play the game. They get a kill, they go on. They're not over there dancing and all this BS, or they'll knock them down and they'll go over there and dance on them for 2 or 3. Come on, man. Just play the game. Just, you knock the guy down, finish him off, go to the next guy. You know what I mean? We're all trying to play a game half the time. Mm-hmm. That drives me nuts. Oh, hang on a second. What's your longest snipe, Tom?
Oh, I actually have a video for you guys. I think my longest snipe is actually a trick shot. It's about 272 meters off of a golf cart.
Oh, shit.
All right, get out of the chat. We're done with you, Tom. Bye. It was nice meeting you. Nah, I'm just kidding. Hey, I had a 280-meter snipe, but I got another video you can watch of mine where I have back-to-back 280-meter snipes on 50 versus 50.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the sniping king, bro. That's all I do.
Yeah. This one was the longest one I have recorded, at least. I might have gotten a little bit longer, but to be honest with you, I really don't know. But I do have this one on clip, which I just linked in the chat.
Nice. I'm gonna take a watch here.
Don't worry, I freaked out a little bit. It's a little cringy, but I was so surprised. I didn't think that was going to happen. I honestly thought I was going to hit the tree.
So let's see. So he's riding around in a golf cart. He's got the sniper rifle out. It's chaos because he's moving, keeping steady, which I don't know how you do that. And holy shit. And he raises his arms in success. I'll tell you what, just the fact that you can keep the crosshairs in one spot while this guy's driving around was
that's nasty.
That's just something I can't do. I was telling you, I play so much and I'm getting better. You know, I definitely am. And today I have a 7-year-old who I'm training. And so like I've been putting them, we go into playground mode and I just try to beat him. You know, I say, hey, try to kill me and I try to kill you. And he's, you know, every day he gets a little bit better. Today he got me twice, and
oh wow,
it's like one step at a time. But that's the fun of being in the position I'm in. I mean, I got a 7-year-old who gets to play more games than I do. So now it's time to, I guess, pass the torch, but I'm still hanging on to it.
No, dude, I'm not passing the torch to nobody. I'm still playing my games. That ain't happening. My 10-year-old, my 7-year-old, or 6-year-old, they better catch up. I'm not passing the torch. Ain't happening.
I will not ever let him win. That's the key.
Oh no, dude, you can't do that.
If he's going to be playing Fortnite against people like Tom, he's got to be able to at least beat me.
If I see his name in the lobby, I'm just backing out. I'm done.
Yeah, Tom, I want to give you the opportunity to sell yourself a little bit and let everyone know about your channel, where to find you, your Twitter, your Twitch, all that good stuff, so that anyone who's listening can find you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, my name is Tom. My gamer tag, whatever you want to call it, is CalzoneOP, as in the food. OP is short for overpowered, which everybody doesn't know. They always think I'm in part of like some sort of a clan. I'm not. It's really very simple. You guys can find me on twitch.tv/CalzoneOP, CalzoneOP, as well as twitter.com/CalzoneOP, Instagram.com/CalzoneOP, and our Discord channel, which you'll find in the stream once you actually get there. And that's about it.
Awesome. Well, Tom, we really, really appreciate you being our first guest here on the Backlog Exposed. We hope we take off. We hope you take off. And, you know, people are going and watching or listening to the backlog of our episodes right now. And so people are reaching out to me about episode 4, episode 5, and this and that. When they get to this one, they will most certainly check you out. And hopefully you start seeing a little bit of an influx of viewers, because you're really good and you deserve it. So we appreciate your time.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Tom.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Thanks for having me.
Keep in touch, all right?
You got it. Have a good one, guys.
You too. Later.
Hope you enjoyed the interview there with CalzoneOP. The dude's real humble. He does it. He takes it. He didn't take it for granted. He saw the opportunity. He took it, ran with it. As in the interview, you heard him talk about he had a not so good computer. After that event, he went and upgraded his computer. Recalibrated everything, got a better camera. Now he's running smooth, and he's still averaging his 2,000 plus viewers and stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. I'm hoping he'll come back again.
Yeah, I think he will. And again, that's CalzoneOP. You can find him on Twitter. Anything you can do to help him out.
Tell him that Backlog Exposed sent him.
That's right. Yeah, please do, because we got to let him know where the love is coming from.
Even if you go watch one of his live streams, just say, "Hey, man, heard you on the Backlog Exposed, blah blah blah." Subscribe, or at least throw a comment in there. Watch him. Donate. He's got his PayPal up and running. Do what you can. But he's definitely a good guy to go watch and go play.
So he told us a little bit about the origin of his name. Joe, me and not you.
All right, man. So I've had me and not you since 2007. Now, mind you, 2007 is when the PS4 came out. Okay.
Yep.
So I was deployed. I can't remember. I can't remember what exact month or whatever the PS4 came out. So I was deployed. I was in Doha, Qatar for 5.5 months with the Air Force. So I came back and I went on leave for about 30 days. And then after that 30 days, I went and bought a PS4. So we're sitting here in Illinois for a long time trying to get a gamer tag. And everything I'm putting in, already taken. I'm like, oh my, I even put my own name in and it was already taken. I was like, what the hell? I was like, screw it. Me and Not You. Boom. Wasn't taken. That's pretty much how it came about. It's simple as that, man. And what's funny is my wife now, since 2007, we played PS4 together, but here recently I bought another PS4. I got the PS4 Pro. She has my other PS4, and I'm sorry, it was the PS3 in 2007. It wasn't the 4, it was a PS3. But anyway, the her name is Me and Not You too.
I love that. I love it.
Just had to keep it going, man. But yeah, it was actually super simple why the name come up, because I was literally trying to get a gamer tag when the PS3 first came out, and it just everything I tried was not there. I was like, screw it, Me and Not You.
It's a clever name. It's funny how that came about. As simple as that story is, it's a pretty clever name.
Yeah, I mean, I see a good little story behind it. I was playing DC Universe. Me and Adam, he's Team Ramtod. I'll get him on the podcast later on, a couple podcasts from now, and he'll tell you about his name. It's pretty funny. But we were in DC Universe. I don't know if you guys ever play it, but awesome game. And we'll be in a raid, and there'll be like 8-10 of us in there, and they're like, "Hey, Me and Not You." And I'm just waiting because they're so confused. People's like, "Who are you talking to? What, Me and Not You?" You who? Me and Not You. I'm like. And I'd be like, yeah, what's up, man?
Who's on first?
Damn, your name's confusing.
That is phenomenal. That is so cool. My wife made fun of me today because I used the word phenomenal too much, but I'm going to use it even more just because. Phenomenal. So I go by Earl's Tees right now, but I have two primary names or gamer tags or whatever that you can find me at. So the first one and the most prominent one in my life is Denominator X. And the story is pretty simple as well. When I went to college, back when the internet was just kind of getting started, 1998, it was blowing up. And I was in Northeastern University, and we had to set up our computers. And this was the first time I ever had to give my computer a name. Back in the day, it didn't really matter. So you just boot up, and then the Windows would assign a name for your computer or whatever. It would be something generic. But when you're registering for a network on a college, or when you're registering for College Network, you have to give them the MAC address. You have to give them all this detail. This was back in the. I don't know what it's like now. It's probably way easier, but they needed every little bit of information, and so you had to give your computer a name. Well, I always found myself to be a little unique, and I thought that the term common denominator was kind of a funny play. Like when you take what's the common denominator? X. So not so common whenever you look at like a math equation or whatever. This is a geek in me at the time. I'm in college. I'm trying to be smart and all that fun stuff.
Trying to be witty.
Whenever you look at like algebra or something, X is always the common denominator. So denominator X. So that's where that came about, and it just kind of stuck. I ended up playing a lot of different video games. The one we talked about quite a bit, Shadowbane. Denominator X was one of my primary names there. And so there's some great screenshots of me back in the day playing that game, Denominator X, and my buddy came up with Numerator X, and we were the X clan. Stupid stuff like that, but that's where that origin came from. And then I haven't talked about it too much on the podcast, but Earl's Tees, I ran a t-shirt company for the better part of 10 years, basically by hand, making t-shirts from scratch. And I started up a website called loiterline.com. And I did this with a buddy of mine, my buddy Bob. And we basically put this business together without an idea of how to do so. And Bob wasn't as interested in the day-to-day and the operation as I was. So really quick, we determined that working together wasn't the right thing to do. So we kind of split ways, like right off the bat, a couple months in. And when we split ways, one of the things that he was pretty adamant about was that the name Loiter Line was something he came up with and he wanted to keep it. And I don't think he's done anything with it since. So Bob, if you're listening, dick move, dude. No, I'm just kidding. We made an agreement. It wasn't a dick move. It actually played out well. But I love that name, Loiter Line. No loitering and all that fun stuff. We had a pretty good series of shirts there. So what I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to name my business, but I had to come up with something. And I came up everything under the sun, just like you were saying, Joe. Everything was taken. If you wanted the word tees or t-shirts or shirts at the end of your .com, it was gone. So my middle name is Earl. Growing up, when people found out that my middle name was Earl, people made fun of me. So in high school, people were like, Earl, they thought it was the funniest thing. And I didn't know at the time that Earl actually once was, a prominent term that kind of meant like importance, royalty. All I thought of was, just kind of like the My Name is Earl TV show before it even came out. That's how I felt when people called me Earl. I was named after family and great people, but it sucked to have that, people make fun of you and stuff, and it sucked. So I decided to make my website earlstees.com. It's something that stuck out. I always thought, well, if people are going to sit there and make fun of me, they're going to remember it, right?
You're going to own it.
You got to own it. So either you let them make fun of you and you cry and sulk, or you own it and it's yours.
Kick them in the teeth.
And you kick them in the teeth with it. So I ran it, and I pushed that damn business pretty damn hard. earlstees.com. It's no longer pointing to a t-shirt business. It's pointing to our podcast page. But one day I'll kick it back up, and we're actually going to utilize the tools and services I provided. We're going to start making some t-shirts for the podcast one of these days. I've never gotten rid of the equipment.
Oh, yeah, we are. My ugly ass face is going to be on one. Just saying.
Hell yeah. I kept all the equipment. Earl's Tees is something that was really near and dear to me. So I'm kind of running with that as my handle, because of it's important to my life and to where I'm at today. But you might see me as Denominator X. You might see me as Earl's Tees. But I think I'm sticking with Tees for now, because Sony doesn't let us change our gamer tag right now, and that's where we're at. So,
well, I'm sticking with me and not you. I've had it for 11 years. I'm not changing now.
Who?
Exactly. Me and not you.
Exactly. No, that's a great name. So that's the origin of our names. Please feel free to comment. Let us know what your gamer tag is, how it came about. If you have a cool story, we'll mention it on air. We'll talk about it, and we'll if it's something good enough, we'll bring it up.
Oh, for sure. I'm always in for a good story.
So, Joe, something pretty important. I know I mentioned it a little while ago, but Firewall 0 Hour. I sent you a couple videos. What I want to do next podcast is get your take on them. I know VR is not your thing right now. Imagine a first-person shooter, close quarters combat, where you're trying to hack a computer system inside of a house, but there's a team of people inside that house, and they got the headsets on, and they're going to try to stop you. And vice versa, you switch sides. I mean, it's very similar to the Rainbow Six Siege, but you're wearing the headset, you got the gun, and they're saying this is the new rave.
A couple of the VR games, but the only one that made me sick was the Farpoint. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
That one tore me up. I had to go take a nap. I was so sick.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll tell you, I do want to actually touch base on this a little bit more in the next podcast too, because I'm still playing through the Resident Evil. But yeah, there's a couple of different things that VR does to me. One, I get nervous just getting into it, just putting it on and getting myself into that mindset. I think if I lived alone, that would be gone. But when I know my kids are in the other room or my wife is in the other room, putting that headset on it's just awkward. Putting myself, because I think, and this is going to sound chauvinistic or whatever, but being the man of the house, this is my domain. This is I got to make sure everyone's okay. If I hear a weird noise in the distance, or if my dog barks and someone's at the door, I mean, we have people knocking at our door up until 9:30 at night because they're trying to sell us candy bars or give them money for their football team or whatever.
That you put that headset on, you're no longer on planet Earth.
That's exactly my point. It just feels, it's just, you're disengaged. And it's uneasy to get myself into that moment. So like if my wife says I'm taking the kids away for the weekend, well, if someone's knocking on that door, they can wait. I don't have to go answer it. So I can lock the door, put my headset on, play the game, and not worry. And maybe that's just a self-conscious thing, but that's the first thing.
It's just knowing that other things are going on around you and you can't see it or hear it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
The second thing is it's kind of annoying. I mean, I love VR, but it's kind of annoying to have to go through the process. So there's two different versions of VR. The first version was you couldn't pass HDR through the and 4K couldn't be passed through the unit. So if you wanted to play 4K or HDR games, you had to go and finagle the HDMI cables. It was a pain in the ass. There's a lot of cables that come with VR.
Oh my God.
Setup isn't grab and go. It takes at least 2 to 4 minutes if you have everything ready and laid out. My setup now, I have everything. In 2 to 4 minutes, I could be playing a VR game. But that's still, if I want to play Fortnite I could be in a match in 2 to 4 minutes. I just boot it up, boom, I'm in. The loading screen takes longer than joining a match, but
yeah, the loading screen takes longer than actually getting in. You're right.
Yeah, so there's that setup. Now the next thing, if I'm tired at all, I don't play VR because, like you just said, it puts me out. It's using my brain in a different capacity, and what ends up happening is I feel like it's just draining on my head. Now, all these things sound negative, right? All these things sound negative. But if you can get past those 3 things, the last thing is the sickness. And not everyone gets the sickness, but certain games cause it more than others. And you can get through it pretty easily by playing. I mean, and that sounds too good to be true, but by playing through it, it's kind of like, holding your breath underwater. The first time you do it, you're a little scared. Second time you do it, you're uneasy. The third time you do it, you can hold it longer. And next thing you know, you're not scared anymore. You're seeing how long you can go. And so certain games that made me sick before don't make me sick anymore. I put in Resident Evil. I started to feel motion sickness. And all I did was stop. I controlled my breathing a little bit. I reminded my brain that I'm in VR and that everything's going to kind of be different. And the motion sickness went away. And I know that sounds super cheesy, but you just have to kind of tell yourself this is not real. I think when your brain's trying to interpret what he sees is real, you're getting this conflict in, and then you start to get uneasy and you get that motion sickness. You take all those things, you chuck them aside, Joe, and then you can just look at the experiences. And there's a lot of garbage, a lot of shovelware, a lot of annoying games that are being put out there. But just like any system, you're going to have people just trying to make a buck. So you're going to have a lot of that. But then through that all, you do have some really good development. You have people who care a lot about these games. So not every game is going to be a AAA title. The ones that come out that really have a lot of effort.
It just came around the last few years.
Yeah.
So I don't think any game right now would be considered a AAA game.
Oh, no, that's where you're wrong. So Farpoint is, in my opinion, that's a AAA game because of its standing, of its stature in the environment. You take just the PlayStation VR, the amount of people who played and bought that game.
What, last year?
Yeah, came out last year. I think a year and a half ago now. So you have that.
But that's what I'm saying. The beginning VR games were just straight garbage.
Not every one of them. Not every one of them.
They're slowly getting better and better.
But see, I think they're slowly getting more shit too. Yeah, or quickly getting more shit. So you're getting dumped on whenever you see a new release. Oh, it's Astro this and blah 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 that and Rainbow Bridge and blah. It's all these weird games that you see being dumped on the store, and you have no reference point. There's no, nothing saying coming soon or whatever. It's just there all of a sudden. And then you have a game like Dreams. It's just a completely different way to play. And I don't know what that'll do to my head. I hope that wakes me up, but you sure as shit, I'm going to be playing that game. I'm going to be playing it.
Some videos and get some better understanding of this VR nonsense for our next podcast so I can have a little bit of input on it.
Well, check those 2 videos about Firewall out because that's what I want to talk about next week as we anticipate the upcoming release, which is I think it's the 24th or 28th of August. One way or another, we got to get you.
I'll get a VR headset somehow, some way, and
I'm telling you, Joe. You know why I want this for you? Because I want you to experience the love for this that I have, not just because I'm, a
little obsessed,
with it, a fanboy of it, but because I want to beat your ass in pool in VR. I want to play pinball next to you in VR. These games exist, and it's badass. So. It's just another level of gaming that I really look forward to and hope it takes off. I mean, I was 5 years old playing with the Power Glove. You remember that thing?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I can play VR in certain games. Won't make me sick, and then if I just sit down and concentrate and played, I don't think it'll make me sick.
I'll tell you what, you gear up for start saving a little bit, gear up for Black Friday sales. The sales that they had for the days of play over the summer. You could get a VR headset with everything you needed for $200. And I really think that at that price point, you can't say no. You get the Move controllers. If you have the Move controllers already, you can get in at $200. but you can also find the Move controllers on eBay for relatively cheap. If you don't go buying them brand new $75. It's not, you don't need to. These are PlayStation 3 level Move controllers, which you might already have, Joe.
No, I don't have the Move controllers, but I mean, I'll look into it and see if I can find a good deal somewhere and let you know.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out as well. But so Joe, tell me real quick, what is, aside from Call of Duty, aside from Fortnite, what is the game that it's in your catalog right now that you would love to play, but you just don't have the time for?
I would play Borderlands 2 all day, every day. If I could. I've beaten that game about 9 times.
Well,
I'll beat it 9 more times. I don't even care. That game's amazing. Borderlands 2 is awesome. They're coming out with a Borderlands 3 eventually.
Yep.
And I'm telling you right now, I don't care what game is out there. I'm going to probably stream and play the hell out of Borderlands 3. Because the franchise is ridiculous.
I checked my catalog here, and lo and behold, I have the Handsome Jack collection on Xbox One, which includes the pre-sequel that you were telling me about. So I'm gonna play it. I know it's not the best of the bunch, but it's still got to be good. If it's
good, it's not bad. It's a great game.
Yep.
But 2 is amazing. So much better. Story's better. The graphics,
the guns
are better. Everything's better in Borderlands 2. But hey, if you want to get up on some Borderlands 2 on PS4, Kevin or anybody else, hit me up. Me and not you. I'm ready to go right now.
I love it. Yeah, definitely start reaching out to us if you want to play. I know as soon as Black Ops 4 comes out, I think Joe and I are going to run a couple of squads and try to get some lobbies filled up with some listeners. I think that's something that we're really anticipating. And, we'll probably try to do this with some Fortnite. If you're interested in joining us and playing with Joe and I on Fortnite, please join our Discord. You can find it at thebacklogexposed.com. There's a link up top, brings you right to the Discord. It's an instant invite. We're still running a trap kills challenge. If you can get the best trap kill, no one has submitted one yet. So we're looking for at least 5 people to submit trap kills. And if you have the best trap kill, as decided by Joe and I on the podcast, we'll look at them. We'll decide. If you win, you'll get a $20 gift card. And so why not, right? We're just trying to get people to listen. And even if we
could win free money, saying.
Even if we know you, go ahead and get in there. I mean, we're trying to grow the channel. And it takes people clicking on that link. Go to thebacklogexposed.com. Up top, there's a couple of different places. You can have our Facebook. You can have our Twitter. You can have our Discord, our YouTube. I'm currently in the process of backing up all of our podcasts onto YouTube. So if you can go to the YouTube channel, you can watch us on YouTube. It's our logo with the audio playing. Hopefully soon, you're going to be able to see our ugly mugs live.
Yeah.
On the YouTube podcast. So I don't know what I have to do editing and stuff when we do these podcasts. So if we do put it on YouTube, we're going to have to try to do straight shooting, no second takes.
We'll be fine, man. We don't ever mess up.
We don't ever mess up. I've never edited once on this. It's pretty much every time. I've never said or too much. It doesn't happen.
Let me look this up real quick. Oh, there it is. Got it. We can just cut that out.
Yep. Oh, man. So, Joe, it's always fun talking to you. Again, check out CalzoneOP. It was awesome to have him on the podcast. We really enjoy it. And, hopefully keep in touch with that guy because he's definitely someone who deserves those views and listens. So check him out.
I'm glad he got it, and I'm glad he's running with it, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Yep, that's right. So share, join, chat, let us know. And if you want to play with us, ping us on Discord. We'd love to have a couple games with you guys. That's all I got, Joe. You want to wrap us up?
That's it. Thanks for listening to the Backlog Exposed. I'm Joe.
I'm Kevin.
And we are the Backlog
Exposed.